you once again for tuning in to another episode of the Goodrich Chronicles. I am your host, Anthony Goodrich. And the dominoes just keep falling, one after another. And I'm sure by now we've all heard about this cat, Sewall, who was a California frontrunner for a governor who just resigned. He's been in the news for the past few days of, sexual allegations. Of course, they're always, what I mean by they is the congressman, everyone in the political party, except the females. You never really hear the females being accused of anything like that, but these cats don't know how to keep their penises in their pocket. I don't understand that. What is really going on with these? Oh my God. So many allegations of sexual misconduct being thrown at this man that he had to resign from his livelihood because he can't keep his penis in his pocket. And I tell you, when they come out and put themselves out in the open like this, first of all, by putting themselves out in the open, meaning conducting themselves in a way that gets them put out where we all, meaning the public, knows what the hell they've been doing. Now, if he just conduct himself in a manner where he wouldn't put himself in a situation where he feels like he needs to control another female for his sexual desires, or put himself in a situation where a female can say he did something that he didn't do, I don't blame him. It's his fault. He deserved whatever comes his way. And if he did anything illegal, they should prosecute his ass. Plain and simple. But that's not the reason why I'm here talking to you today. Because Sewall is just one of the dominoes that have recently fell. And there's another one. Tony Gonzalez. Yeah. He's a Texas representative. And this cat resigned today because there's a lot of talk and pressure about his conduct. But I'm going to put you onto something that he did that had an effect on someone that caused them, according to authorities, caused her to take her life. And not only did she take her life, she burned herself up on purpose. And I say, bullshit. She didn't do that. Nope, she didn't do that. Let me tell you who I'm talking about. This young woman was a staffer for Tony Gonzalez, okay? He ends up having sex with her. He's a married man with children, mind you, okay? He ends up having sex with her. People are talking, rumors are flying, feelings are being hurt. And for whatever reason, this woman, by the name of Regina Santos Alvarez, like I said, she was a staffer. She's having sexual relations with Tony Gonzalez, who I just told you was a married man with children. Now, I don't know what the details were as far as their history and if it was volatile or not, and why things got to the way that they did. But check this out. They're saying that she set herself on fire in the backyard of her own house. They're saying there was no foul play involved at all. But yet, they blocked the 911 calls. They blocked the body cam footage from everyone that was there. So there's nothing to go back on to say that this woman committed suicide or something more sinister. Can you imagine setting yourself on fire? But check this out. Her mother came out in the backyard while she was on fire, as before the EMS came. I think right about the time that paramedics showed up. She saw her daughter alive in the backyard. She was still alive. And not only was she still alive, but she was talking. But the only words that was reported that she uttered was that she didn't want to die. She didn't want to die. There was, everyone, as far as the authorities go, are saying it was an accident. However, she has gasoline doused all over her. Did she really do that? Do you believe she did that? Do you believe she? Nope. Not me. I don't believe she did it. This sounds like a huge cover-up. A lot of people got involved. And this woman is gone for whatever reason. Was she that upset and depressed that she felt like she wanted to take herself out in such a painful and atrocious manner? I mean, I understand people wanting to not be here anymore, but I don't understand anyone that purposely sets themselves on fire. That I don't get. When you can easily take a handful of pills that you can get from anywhere. But I digress from that. But the thing is, folks, is that we got congressmen in position right now who feel like they can control women any way they want because they hold some type of power. And that's what, sexual assault and rape is all about. It's not even about the sexual desire. It's about control. And when you become a person in position that gives you power, some people tend to use that control against people that they feel like they can use it against to get what they want. And not even think about any repercussions. Sometimes they feel like they're above the law. So if you have been sexually assaulted or you are being sexually assaulted, you know someone who has, I advise you to seek some help. Call someone that you have faith in, talk to someone, and try to get some help and not resolve this by yourself. Now, this whole scandal with Tony Gonzalez resigning as of today because of all the stuff that's going on around him is simply, there's no other way to put it than ungodly. Ungodly acts. And something needs to come to a head. All these criminal-minded, felonious acting, Congress representing constituents, office holders, all of them need to be held accountable for what they do. And that includes your president. Yep. He needs to be accounted for everything he has done and is doing. I wouldn't be surprised if, nope, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. But Lord knows I'm tempted to, but I'm not going to say it. But anyways, just another domino that has fallen. And these two dominoes that have fallen in the past 2 days, there are going to be more. There will be more. And this doesn't even have anything to do with the Epstein files. This is just a couple of guys in a position of power utilizing that power to try to gain control over someone that is vulnerable. That's what's happening here. But we got to put a stop to it. And it makes you wonder, is there a history of all this sexual conduct, or should I say sexual misconduct, before these people even got in office? Do they all of a sudden feel like because they're in office now that they can do what they're being charged with, or what have you? Is that how it works? Because I hate to think that there's a history. I would like to think it never happened at all, but that this would be their first time. But something tells me it's not. Something tells me it is not their first time for either one of these cats. So, be that as it may, the front runner of California governor position just resigned. And that fool of a fool, Tony Gonzalez, also just resigned. Damn shame. Damn shame. But with that, I'm going to leave that on your brain. Let me know what you think as far as Miss Alvarez being burned to death. Because she didn't die right there immediately. She died in the hospital. They said she was screaming and still talking. And why can't we hear the 911 calls? Why can't we see the body cam footage? I'll tell you why. Because Texas has a rule, a law, that if it's not a murder, a killing, then it doesn't have to be made public. Therefore, they can keep all that secret, no matter who wants it. So they classified it as a suicide. And because it's a suicide, there is no obligation to release anything surrounding that case. Which tells me that there's something suspicious going on. Because if it's not a big deal and you have a whole conglomerate of people, a community wanting answers, why not be transparent? Why not be transparent? Give the people what they want. You all could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to spend some time with me. And for that, I will always be grateful. Thank you once again for tuning in to the Goodrich Chronicles. I'm Anthony Goodrich, signing off.